小伙伴们，大家好，欢迎来到水之哥的奇幻士游戏攻略。这期视频我们接着上期视频内容是第一章的内容啊。这边可以阅读点一下，但是没有经验啊。下来之后，这边我们先别急着出去啊，这边会增加经验值。下来之后，然后这里也会有一些阅读的东西，把阅读完之后，我们再出去。好，然后这边还有啊，阅读升级了。阅读我们人物已经升级了，先3点，我先不加啊，到时候再加。好，这些差不多读完了，我们几乎升了1级多啊。好，然后我们就直接出去了啊。现在没读完，不着急，到后面你再来探索也是可以的。出去，我们触发剧情。
Why such a crowd?
A circus has come to town.
These are troubled times. Brothers turn against brothers. Russia has had enough bloodshed. The violence must stop. When socialists attempt to divide Russia and her subject nations, to dent the sword that smote the enemy at Grunwald, this demands my decisive action. Thus, by my grace, I hereby appoint as Governor General of Warsaw, Georgi Antonovich Skowon.
A butcher.
Not a popular guy, I presume.
I see you ain't from here. That swine keeps a photo album of all the folks he's had shot at the Citadel.
Before and after execution.
Warsaw! The time for leniency and indulgence is over. From the moment this office is bestowed on me, no forces hostile to the subjects of Greater Russia will have any further right to exist. None! Whether it be brutal socialist subversives, communists, Jews, or other satanic provocators.
He sure knows how to unite a crowd.
Pardon me. Are you Polish?
I was born in Warsaw, but I'm lapsed. My name's Victor.
Wanda.
This is Russia here. Like it or not. Warszawa. Время террора закончилось.
Иди нахуй!
My first decision as Governor General of Warsaw. Arrestować.
Great heroes in their sense of timing. Of course, now they're the first ones in the fight.
Samoobladanie, Polyaki. We want that rebel. The Loudmouth.
Damn.
What happened?
Be a gentleman. Please kneel and tie my shoe.
That seems more like a job for the servants, young lady.
Go ahead. Look down. Can I ask you a tiny favor? The Russians can't find out about this. The military is just looking for an excuse to suppress the crowd, and these workers are dreaming of thrashing a Russian gendarme.
Either one of you confesses to disturbing the peace, or всех забирай. We'll take you all in.
You can't handle all of us.
Can you get us out of here?
I think I'm open to any kind of suggestion.
With a book like that, I'd find out what would convince one of these bastards to let us go. Or I'd take on that self-appointed leader of the proletariat.
Interesting strategy. Who are you, really?
A damsel in distress.
Those don't usually hide ammunition in their stockings.
Can I explain it to you another time?
For instance, I could disclose to a soldier that you came here with ammunition under your skirt.
Maybe we should see who they believe. A respected lady of Warsaw, or a common magician who just 100 years ago would have been burned at the stake.
Well, since you asked so nicely, I'm going to take a look around.
好，此时这边有一个线索啊，这是车站搜捕行动，我们先调查一下。这是旺达的，我们点一下这个。好，这里探索都没了啊，然后我们和他对一下话，对话前保存。
Do you think it's a good idea to stir people up and send them to face bullets and bayonets?
What do you want then? My whole life on my knees? Kissing Ruski's ass?
Do you realize blood is about to be spilled? And that it might be mine?
Fuck off!
啊，这边有个工人领袖这一个。
You still haven't squealed on me?
I'm going to...
好，我们再找这个军官谈话。
Pardon me, gentlemen.
The crowd has received the order. For now, zero response.
We'll give them a moment to arrest them all, book them, interrogate them. Господи, we'll be home in November.
这边可以得出结论啊，警卫的想法。中士其实想尽快收兵回家啊。
Gentlemen, please forgive me. Maybe there's a faster way to get this situation resolved.
Back off, Polyak, or we'll start shooting. Понятно? Scrum! Давай.
Достаточно. Should we go in and capture the worker who's mouthing off and let the rest go?
Да, сержант. We can use anyone as an example.
Шагом марш!
Goodbye.
You're welcome.
I wanted to thank you at our next meeting. We could use someone like you.
We? Meaning the people you were carrying ammunition for and who got you Dutch pomade for your hair.
You haven't just got pretty eyes, you know how to use them. Maybe you'll find time one day for some jam donuts at Burke Rotblitz's?
现在是档案收集啊，刚刚水这个没说啊，然后这边有几个锁定的地方，进不去，不用担心。你在后面解锁了探索功能的时候啊，也就是有半开放世界的那些兴趣点啊，或者是什么能收集东西了，这时候我们有些东西收集齐了就可以进去了啊，不用担心。那么有些地点呢还是主线任务才能进去的啊，所以这些不用担心，到时候再来也一样。我们在做完这一个父亲的葬礼这些任务之后就会解锁了。这边也有一个，在这个位置，有些会随着你的任务的推进还有解锁，它继续有更多的这个阅读档案啊。接着这边我们进警察局啊，现在只能进警察局，然后这里面会有一些小收集，也不是收集啊，就阅读一下这些档案，阅读一下，我们把经验值升一下。经验值升一下，对我们后面战斗啊，还有探索啊都有帮助。现在这些都是档案的收集啊，不是那种结论或者是线索的收集。等我们这边的主线推进一点之后呢，就可以解锁。线索收集，然后也可以那个进行密文这些东西啊，这些任务还有一些支线任务等等。好，我们可以走了啊，已经没有了。我们跟着感叹号搭乘马车或者电车走。我们在地图上随便找个马车点或者电车点都可以啊。点击之后，我们选择这一个。点旅行，好，这回我们来到这里，这里也有一些小东西收集啊。首先就是这边啊，这边刚下马车的点，阅读一下，还有这个阅读一下，然后我们来到这边。然后有一个兴趣点，其实这个兴趣点就是我们即将解锁的一个任务，也不是任务，就是可探索点。这些兴趣点呢，这一个我不知道为什么可以先点啊，应该是做完这个美人鱼之城的儿子这个做完之后才能开启的。不过我们先点了，给大家看一下。然后这个点完就一句话，然后我们收集的是这幅画。点一下展示，它就一次性画完了啊。然后这边呢，收集是在这里，在物品里面，然后写生，总共有55个，这是其中一个啊。这个就先给大家展示一下，这个很好找啊。这个像这个兴趣点，你过去点一下就有了啊，很好找啊。这边边上有个阅读啊。随后我们再来到快到任务点，然后先别点它们，我们先点这个，把这个2个阅读给它拿了啊，就是这个位置啊，这是你任务点东西。好，那么目前的这些档案收集呢，就是初步的一个收集方法，一种是收集档案，一种是收集兴趣点，还有一种就是收集密文什么。那么后续水之哥会在收集密文、收集一些信息的时候，会单独做视频，就是按区域来做啊。比如说这里是波翁兹基公墓啊这个区域，那我们这个区域里面有哪些收集品，哪一些密文，我会单独放视频出来。然后比如说市中心南区也是这样子啊，一个视频，然后是一个区域啊。如果那区域特别少，我可能那个视频会放2个区域啊。先在此说明一下，以免小伙伴可能不知道啊。水之哥这个合集呢，分为主线、支线，然后密文加收集这样子分。好，我们来出发主线了啊，废话太多了。
Excuse me, what's going on here?
They're burying Satan in sacred ground.
Some of those assembled believe it to be sacrilege. Konstancja Shabowska, the Warsaw courier. What is your opinion, considering the book at your side?
He's a tempermancer. Don't let him through.
Please, quote me. These people, including this gentleman, are complete idiots. They all know very well that thaumaturges are immune to death.
You don't say.
And now, if you'll excuse me.
No, you can't go any further.
I'm asking you kindly get out of my way before things get nasty.
Get that heretic with fire and sword.
这几个家伙是反奇幻士的几个家伙啊，这几个家伙，早点打，反正以后还要跟他打啊，我们就不用那么客气，直接滋养滋养我们的傲慢。好，然后这边呢都是消耗1，我的建议呢是把这几个先给他点了啊，这边我会点一个这个先。然后这边行动反应还不错，然后这里还有个苦难啊，我的建议是先把这2个给它点出来。好，这边升级一下，完美效率还是不错的啊，完美效率。然后这边有一个残暴，这是跟异界种有关的。先这样放上去啊，有强化先带。这是减慢敌人行动。好，调整完我们开始了啊。然后我们这边可以开始选择异界种的，因为我们现在有2个了啊。然后谁对哪个异界种打他有利，它会显示一个这一个绿色的星号啊，会有一个这个啊，对他有利。打他好打一些。那么这边呢，我觉得这边呢，如果你想切换异界种，就点一下这边啊。这时候是异界种的一个行动行动时间，然后不是行动时间啊，异界种的行动。那么这个你切换就行。如果你想先人物行动的，点一下这个有人物行动的啊，点一下这个就有异界种行动。等你2个都操作完，他们就开始行动了。好，这边呢，我就对它直接用2个降低这个啊。这边如果有苦难的话，看一下，我给它加个苦难，我给它加个苦难。好，苦难加上了啊。这边苦难加上了，我这边2先不打了。这边2是什么意思呢？刚刚我们在排技能的时候啊，就是那边多学了一个这个苦痛，也就是我们放的第1个的时候，接着就放刚刚那个技能第2个，然后在后面如果有第3个会出第3个啊。如果这个回合没放这个，它就消失了。你就需要一个个也就是你对着这个技能放，一直放的话，它会一直放后面强化的，就是一直后面可以使用，到时候有第3级的等等啊。这个同理，其他的技能也是这样子。好，我这边给它把集中值给它全降低了啊。然后这边呢，我觉得是直接打就可以了。好，这里我们直接给他一巴掌。他们伤害还是高的啊，这一轮。不过没关系，我们这边直接给他一拳。给完他一拳之后，我看一下这边啊，我们选中他。能在他出手之前打他的啊。OK， 我们用这个啊，先一拳把他打了。打了之后，这个我们在他出手之前会打的。然后我们这边也直接用这个 第二个的行动反应，让他拜拜。好，后面还有敌人的增援啊。然后敌人增援有的时候不是讲敌人增援啊，有的时候敌人会有这个特质，这个特质呢会免疫部分攻击，这个攻击呢有可能有减伤啊，还有免疫负面 buff 啊等等啊。然后我们用对应的异界种就可以破除，或者说你如果没有破除的话，没有这个对应的异界种能破除它的话，那么我们可以使用相应的那个维度力啊，消耗它的集中值，然后发动强力攻击，也可以达成这个消耗特质的目的啊。好，我们来看一下它的特质。它的特质狡猾的家伙，它的特质是抗性，受到伤害降低 80%。我们使用巫破就可以破除啊，巫破是它。所以你想破除它呢，尽快破除它呢，我们直接用一个最快速的技能就可以了。大家看到啊，现在它这边巫破的技能呢，它在上面写了，该技能可以破除敌人的特质啊，这几个技能都是一样啊，都可以破除啊。所以呢，我们要用最快的那一个先破除掉它啊。好，破除了，我这边我看一下啊，我就预谋伤害吧，打伤害快一些。他们这个血量是挺高的啊。然后这边回个血啊，没有双倍伤害。好，我用这个看看能不能打断他已安排的行动。这个技能是回复你损失的一半的气血。哎呦，没打断啊，这50%我就没触发过啊。我换一个异界种啊，来用它看看。OK， 再加上这个，他死了。
That was so enchanting. Spectacular. You with a scowl and a puffed out chest, and them dropping like flies in the blink of an eye? Collapsing on their own, becoming delirious? Extraordinary. Can we meet for an interview?
Thank you, but I'm already late.
好，接着我们往里面走啊，这边我们继续阅读一下里面的东西。然后还有这个墓碑上的文字也可以阅读，阅读了之后呢，我们是继续加经验值啊，这个经验值一点都不能少。能多拿就多拿啊，全给它探索了。这个时候你用这个没用啊，因为你这个现在最多就指引你任务在哪，因为我们现在还没有解锁那些就是线索的那个探索。好，我们继续来读这些啊，这边还有一个。这墓地不大啊，这个很好找这些东西，但按走这个白色都走一遍，这些东西就读完了。接下来我们直接往这边走啊，走到任务点，先跟门口这个人对话。
I'm sure you don't remember me. My name's Hayat, Mordecai Hayat. I wanted to offer my condolences.
Thank you.
Please, forgive my prying. I know Mr. Shulsky took nitroglycerin for his heart, but how did he pass away? Was that his cause of death? His heart?
We've ruled out any coronary causes since the doctors couldn't confirm whether the deceased had a heart.
Yes, I understand. My condolences, once again. I'll leave you alone. I'm sure you want to bid farewell to your father.
接着我们上去，然后这边也没有什么别的啊，我们直接进去，触发剧情。
I knew you'd turn up.
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Stasha loved you in his own way. You look well. Ligia said he found some quack healer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You don't recognize me, do you? But do you remember who taught you how to shoot starlings?
Uncle Voronin, I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I probably wouldn't recognize myself anymore. Go look in on your sister, she's worried. We'll talk at home.
Sister?
Victor. I'm so glad you came. I wasn't sure if my telegram had reached you.
I'm glad too. How are you holding up?
All this caught me off guard, but for now I don't have time to think things through calmly.
Have you written to Mother?
Yes, but what can you expect? You know what Nadia is like. It was never her style to show up for family events like this. It's getting late, and we've still got the reading of Papa's will ahead of us at home. And I'll leave you two alone. I suppose you've got your own matters to clear up.
Fine, let's get this over with. So, it was me who got it right in the end. Back then, on the train platform, was the last time we saw one another. 15 years ago. After brief suffering, fell asleep in the Lord. Brief? I hope not. Did you write this yourself? A tyrant, bigot, and liar, mistakenly absolved, died after suffering all too briefly. That's better, and definitely closer to the truth. I'm sorry there are so many things I didn't get to say to your face. All those years, I said them over and over to myself in my head. How you were never able to admit a mistake. You never sought blame in yourself. Someone else was always guilty, never you. Mother because she wanted something for herself in life. Ligia because she wasn't born a boy. Me because I was born a thaumaturge, but I didn't want to live following your principles. And now... The day you died, you visited me in my dreams. I was a child when you hounded me out of here, and I remember you as you were back then. But in my dream you looked older. You gave me hell as usual. You didn't believe I'd succeed. You were wrong. I've come back with 2 salutors. Farewell, Father.
Am I intruding?
I was reflecting at the grave of my beloved father.
You tricked me. I heard something else. Stanisław and I were acquainted. You might say I knew everything about your father. Mr. Victor Szulski, isn't it? Your absence from Warsaw has happily come to an end, I hope.
I haven't had time to think about it.
I understand. I hope you'll find some reason to stay here a little longer. Again, my condolences.
I didn't catch your name.
My name's Konieczkin. Ivan Konieczkin. Goodbye.
Such interesting friends you had. I guess I'm more tired than I thought.
接下来我们这里面可以阅读一些相关信息，这个也有经验值啊。然后这边调查一下，这是一个线索。这边得到了侮辱性的纸条，得出结论。这个结论 ，OK， 加一波经验值，我们走了。接下来这里面没有别的东西，我们可以直接走。
We can go. The hardest thing was getting the lid of the urn. The scattering I could handle.
You can play the clown, but I know how much this has cost you. I'm glad you went.
Love at a funeral. Eros post-mortem. Is it suitable for a young lady in mourning to fraternize with bachelors? Konstancja Shabowska, the Warsaw Courier. Could I ask for a brief comment?
Hyena.
Thank you. And you, sir?
We're twins, my dear lady.
The Shulskis reunited. You don't look like a horrid cripple. Why did you leave Warsaw so quickly?
Don't tell her anything. She'll write whatever she wants anyway. And we'd better get going.
I suggest you leave. Otherwise, I'll overlook your womanhood and make sure you can never pronounce a single syllable correctly again.
You'd permit that to happen, Judge? Maybe I should write about this.
And who would let you print it?
Someday the press will get the Russian boot off its neck, Judge.
I'm afraid none of us will live to see the day, my dear. Come on, children. I'm sure my Petya is already waiting for us at home.
I'd love to see my cousin.
Are you coming with us?
Thank you, but if you don't mind, I'd prefer to spend some time alone.
Remember, we're waiting with the lawyer.
And look after yourself. It is not the city you remember anymore.
这里呢，可以跟他回去，直接跟 NPC 回去，或者说是我们自己回去都可以。如果你那边刚刚之前收集的没有收集完，可以现在收集。当然了，你后面再收集也是一样的啊。水之哥这边就直接找辆马车先回去了啊。我们到市中心北区。然后北区有一小部分档案，我先带大家过一遍。好，我们来到这个位置，这边，然后跟着水之哥走，这边会有一个，然后在这边。然后在这边，这个就刚刚那个位置往前走一点。好，大概这些档案就是这样子的啊。这些档案如果没收集到的没关系，做完这个任务之后，我们再回来收集，重新收集也是一样。 之后水之歌的主线视频里面是不会再有这些收集了啊。这些收集，因为我们这个任务之后呢，就会解锁完全收集了。那时候我会放在密文那些收集片里面啊。好，那么我们现在开始就是主线归主线啊，后面主线不会再夹杂这些收集，除非主线要求的收集啊。好，我们进去出发剧情。
Young Mr. Shulsky, after all these years, goodness gracious, you're drenched!
Good evening, Grazinka.
Evening. My, you're soaked. Come to the kitchen now. You can warm up by the stove. And that drunken judge, maybe you can drag him out too.
Where's my sister?
In the study, already waiting with the lawyer. She said you were running late. Should I make you some cocoa, master? It would warm you up a little.
Make an extra creamy one for Ligia.
Oh, I won't skimp on her. Now, your sister's putting a brave face on all this, but she's really having a hard time. It's lovely to see you again. But that's enough jabber for now. I've got the guests and the cocoa, and I've got to whip up some food for you all later. We'll talk soon.
好，此时我们在家里面会收集到一些东西啊，也能解锁相关的一些结论啊，或者是线索啊。这边有2个这个收集都给它点了啊，这边我们等会跟他对话。然后还有这种记得也调查一下啊，那经验值的。这是我们的后花园。后花园这边呢，暂时是没什么东西可以捡的啊。这边我们待会做完任务是有东西的。我们先上去，不着急啊，先上去，把这个点一下啊。收集这些档案，收集这些东西，就是为了前期带大家，把这些经验值啊拿一拿，这样子我们的战斗还有探索都比较好，就是轻松，比较轻松啊。然后这边一个换装，这个换装等到我们后面解锁裁缝的任务的时候啊，就会拿这些衣服啊，这些衣服也是水之哥带大家收集的一些东西。我们继续收集。然后这边有很多啊，这边我稍微点快点啊，大家自己暂停看一下这个文字。啊，先不点公证人啊，先别点公证人，点了进剧情的。因为我们还有东西没有点完，先把这些经验值都给他拿了。这些点完，我们可以升2级啊。啊，接着我们再去下楼，下楼那边还有一些小事件啊，这里面是没有什么东西的。这边阅读一下，这边也阅读一下。好，大部分该拿的东西拿了啊。然后我们现在和这些人对话，对话前保存。
I don't want to put my foot in my mouth again. I already failed to recognize someone once today, but you look familiar.
Well, I should think so. I was the victim of one of your starling hunts. Voronins must not be very memorable, cousin.
Petya! Forgive me, and for shooting you as well. Huh. How are you doing?
Just some heart problems, not a subject for today. I'm sorry about Uncle Stanislav. Forgive me for not coming to the funeral. I can't bear cemeteries.
We'll have to meet up again.
Goodbye.
一般像有些 NPC 对话后，就是有这些档案啊。这些档案不过不算在收集成就那些里面的。好，我们找舅舅对话。
I'm glad you're here. I thought I'd have to drink alone.
So many goodies laid out for the guests. Having trouble picking something for yourself, Judge?
But this was Stashio's. It was special. Amber liqueur with quinces.
I think you mean quince liqueur with amber, right? If it's not here, I'm sure it's in the basement. But I won't grope around down there in the dark now. I've got my hands full.
Now, I don't want to trouble you either. Victor, could you track down a little bottle for your uncle?
I suppose I'm obligated to accept this mission.
Good lad. A nephew like you is a treasure.
好的，我们这边多了一个这个额外的目标，帮他取一瓶酒到地下室。我们来到地下室，然后用这个扫描，这边是这一个酒啊，一个红葡萄酒。这个是白葡萄酒啊，我们点这些又升级了啊。啊，这个是舅舅想要的这个酒。啊，得出结论。好，再把这个调查一下，这是他母亲的画像。啊，这些都没了啊。我们把这个酒给舅舅。
How did it go? Mission accomplished?
他要的是这个酒啊，直接给他这个。其他大家可以看看是什么情况啊，给之前保存。
This is our little funeral battle. We would meet in Stasha's study after every funeral we went to, and raise a toast to the dead. And recently, we've been seeing one another more and more at such events. More and more. But this time, even he has left me. So, to an easy death, as Stasha and I used to say.
How did he die?
Hasn't Lygia told you?
I haven't even had the chance to ask.
He didn't suffer, but such images in the memory are better saved for later. I'd prefer to remember him as he was alive. What then? Am I drinking alone? Familiar faces keep vanishing from my life. Stasio and my Helena before him. I miss my little darling. I miss them both. Well, obligation fulfilled. Shall we get to the reading of the will?
At the funeral, there was this sad Jewish fellow, Mordechai Hayat. Do you know him, Uncle?
He worked for Stanisław, but that was a long time ago. I don't know him more than that. So, shall we collect our inheritance?
这边没别的事了，就可以和他一起触发后续的剧情了啊！如果你还想探索这边还遗漏什么，你就点一下这个，也可以自己上去再探索再触发剧情。
You'll all have to wait for me a moment yet.
All right, but hurry up.
这里选这个呢，属于这个为了再点一下这个啊，我们可以收集一下这个写生。就是这边的啊，好，接着我们走上楼，直接触发剧情。
I am ready, Mr. Shulsky. I only need all of you to be present.
Can we start reading your father's will?
Yes, let his will be done. Again.
Let's begin if everyone is ready. Would you all please take a seat? Ladies and gentlemen, by the power of my office vested in me by the grace of His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of all Russia, I hereby testify. Mr. Shulsky's last will and testament were prepared several years ago in the presence of Zaslav Fedorov, Esquire, that is, myself. My last will and testament recorded in the year of our Lord 1888. In the name of the Holy Trinity. Amen. Therefore, my first irrevocable wish is to appoint as executrix of this will my daughter, Ligia Shulska. Immediately after my death, an inventory shall be conducted in full accordance with the law. After completing the inventory, all my personal movables will be sold at public auction. And let the funds raised thereby be donated on the anniversary of my death to the beggars near that cemetery. The administration of the remainder of my fortune I leave, without restriction, to the person of my daughter Ligia.
I'm not even getting a teaspoon.
All movables and immovables relating to the family enterprise I entrust to the care and administration of my daughter. I do not prescribe a method of administering them. I merely offer her one piece of advice. I wish that the business should be conducted with modesty, prudence, and honesty, as I have conducted it my whole life.
A joker to the very end.
To my brother-in-law and oldest friend, Alexander Voronin, I wish to leave the following: my collection of muskets and 2 revolvers dating to the uprising in memory of our first meeting.
Stasio, I will have plenty to do in my retirement.
Enjoy your retirement. Now, Mr. Fedorov, what did my father leave my mother?
Victor, be serious.
Nothing. There is a special item reflecting the absolute lack of any bequest to my former spouse, Nadia Fyodorovna Voronina. I would also like to come to the aid of my only son, Viktor Shulsky, by entrusting him with the use of my personal black grimoire, in the hope that he will be able to make good use of it. This is my last will and testament. Carry it out solemnly, though you may have found it burdensome. However, this last bequest poses a certain problem.
Yes, it certainly does. And what is that, may I ask?
I am not in possession of this grimoire. The late Mr. Shulsky used it up until his death, yet no one left it with me after his passing.
Meaning it's disappeared? Did father have his grimoire on him at the time of his death?
It was only because of the grimoire that we could identify him at all.
What actually happened? How did he die?
A building collapsed on top of him. I don't know any other way of putting it.
The grimoire. Could someone have taken it?
Perhaps. In all that confusion.
But why would anyone want Papa's grimoire? An ordinary person won't use it. Would the Taumaturge just happen to be passing by?
Father had all his knowledge in there, but I don't know if it would be useful to someone other than him. I don't even know why he left it to me.
I'm sure Stasio had a reason.
A building? It collapsed on top of him? How? How did this happen?
It was a day like any other. Papa had gone for his habitual walk. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd take a stroll to get some space, as he put it. When he didn't come back for a long time, I got the bad feeling something had happened. Then...
We rode there together. An entire wall of a tenement had collapsed. There were 3 victims, including Stasio, who had the bad luck to simply be walking by. To see him there in that condition, it's beyond description.
Where did it happen? Where was this building?
The southern part of Śródmieście, not far from the police station. Anyway, you can miss it.
So that's where it is. I've seen this place. I'd rather not imagine what condition you found Father in there.
Of all the possibilities, this was the death that fate prepared for him.
I foresaw a slightly more pleasant end for him, myself. I doubt even he deserved such a horrible death.
Those might be the kindest words you've ever said on the subject of a father.
How typical of his sort of person, to keep a portrait in his study of a family that was only a family on canvas. Not long after the painting was done, he got divorced, ruined the Nijitas, and kicked out his son. But there the portrait hangs, as if family meant anything at all.
I don't know what exactly happened with Aboritse, but I know that Papa felt guilty. You don't want to forgive him even now that he's gone?
The dead need no forgiving. And as for forgetting, I don't know how. It's just a shame about the grimoire.
What do you intend to do?
I think we have to look for the answer in the place where it happened.
With your sight, you can make out more in those ruins than I, or Uncle, or Detective could. This is a good lead, but is it the only one?
And Mordechai Chayat. Could that be a lead?
I don't think so. He worked with Father, but he left more than a year ago. I don't know why. He was an assistant at our, well, my store.
Do you know where I might find him?
Sadly, no.
Do you have any other ideas?
And where are Father's things at the moment?
You're standing at the very center of his kingdom. Not everything has been sorted through yet, but you go right ahead.
And the store? I should check that too.
I've started stock-taking there to distract myself, and I don't want you to go in there before I've finished.
As you wish. Father evidently knew a certain Ivan Konieczkin. Have you heard anything about him?
Konieczkin? No, doesn't ring a bell.
All sorts of people came to Papa's store. That doesn't mean every one of them might know something about the grimoire.
That's true. You've got your work cut out for you.
Now at least I can see how little I know. Maybe these scraps of information will lead me somewhere.
Well, now that we know what's got to be figured out, forgive me, my darlings. I'm going to give my old bones a rest.
I'll see you out.
Goodbye, Uncle. And, Ligia. I'm sorry it happened this way. That I wasn't close by.
The most important thing is you're here now.